Johnny Mroz is a neighbor of mine. He lives just down the street, and he's been a resident of Ottawa all his life. Did you know anybody that was like that? I didn't. Anyway, he has been working in high tech for years. I just don't know since how long, but I know he has one passion in his life, and that is dogs. And he has show dogs. Dogs that are so old, they're one of the oldest breed of dogs in history. And he's probably going to tell us about them sometimes. In any case, please join me in welcoming our first speaker with his icebreaker, Johnny Mroz. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Johnny Mroz, and like Ray said, I was born in Ottawa. I live in Ottawa. I work in Ottawa. I was in high tech since '72 at an old place called Microsystems. And now I work in a new place that's been around for a while, called the Canadian Space Agency. I want to tell you about me and who I am. I like the ancient, and I like the new. The ancient, I work in the Canadian Space Agency. Up there is the oldest thing in the universe. I live on the newest place in the universe, relatively speaking, our Earth. I like the common, and I like the unique. The common thing, as Ray said, I have dogs. And the unique part is, they're actually the oldest breed in the world, from which all dogs have descended. There's things in the ancient world I'm learning to discover. In the Ukraine, they discovered a thing called a stone temple. It's 20,000 years old. In Egypt, from which my dogs come from, they have pyramids, relatively new at 6,000 years. Now my dogs, where do they fit in between the ancient and the new? They're right in between, about 9,000 years old. They've been breeding true. Little drawings they've been finding, and little king's seals and all this. If you want to pass that around 2 collars, just the 2 collars, not the keys, please. One on each side. The collars that our Sergeant at Arms, Georgia, was passing around are the ones I use on my dogs when I go for a walk. Those collars are identical to the ones used 4,000 years ago by the pharaohs in Egypt, with the little things hanging around each side, for whose purpose remain unknown. Yet, we still have them. They look pretty, and people never fail to ask me, what are they? To use the word of the day, flagrant. My dogs are flagrant disrespecters of command. They have the 2-minute rule. I hear you, but I'm busy. And sometimes they'll come. My dogs are part of my life. They're my fur kids. They're a companion. They're independent thinkers. They don't really work alone. They work with me, which is kind of nice. Well, what else about me is ancient and new, common and unique? If you want to pass around my keys that I carry in my pocket, one on each side. Yeah. On one set of keys, there will be a microchip. That's what I started with in Microsystems back in 1972. Working through to Bell Northern Research and Northern Telecom as a manufacturing engineer, making the chips that made the internet possible. We just learned how to cook the stuff. How they designed them and all that belonged to the other guys, but we were damn good cooks. On the keychain that has my microchip on it, it also has a Jeep key and my work key. On the other keychain is a horse bit, a snaffle bit. I love horses, an ancient mode of transportation. On the other end of the key is my house key. The other end of that snaffle bit is an LED key fob that is red. That won't desensitize the eyes if I'm looking at star charts trying to figure out where I am in the world. Well, the battery's worn out. It costs so darn much for that little thing. Anyways, the ancient and the new on each of the keychains. The ancient horse snaffle, my new home, and the brand new LED technology. On the other keychain, the ancient and the new, the microchip, my workplace, and then my Jeep. The Jeep is ancient. It's been developed in the war to pull tractors, hasn't changed much in years. I like to go off the road. Which brings me back to my dogs. My dogs are hunters. They're show dogs as well. my dog Leo, a little black dog, is a champion in the conformation. You're supposed to get 10 points to get your championship, and a thing they call majors, which is a multiple points. My dog won 11 points in one weekend with 2 majors, which was pretty nice. He then followed that up with a field championship where they simulate the running of a game, and they track them under 7 categories on how good they are, and Leo became Canada's #1 field champion for 2010. The old and the new. I take him out of my Jeep to run in the field like the old. The ancient and the unique. You look at my Jeep, I don't know if you guys have seen my Jeep, but Ray's looked at it all the time driving by. I've got a big antenna on the roof. I'm a ham radio operator too. I can drive in the country, turn on the radio, talk. My furthest talk was to the bottom end of South America, 1,000 miles south of Santiago, Chile. And I talked all the way to see my mother for about 15 minutes, and when I was giving my goodbyes, a fellow in Scotland and a fellow in Calgary decided they could talk with the scientist who was doing something down there, near the Antarctic Circle. The ancient and the new. My bike, everybody's seen me on a motorcycle. My motorcycle has an engine. It's a new mode of transportation, but it has an engine that's been used in World War I aircraft. It's been modified. It's all highly electronicized. You never have to repair anything, and it has ABS. But here I am, similar to my horse thing, the ancient, and the motorcycle, the new. But what does that tell me, or tell you about me, in Toastmasters and why I'm here? To continue with the theme of the ancient and the new, I've always talked. I've always talked. But what's the new thing? I'm learning how to talk here. In the common and the unique, the common thing, we've all had friends. We've gone in places. I have friends. But what I have here are Toastmaster friends. And I really like that. The ancient and the new, that's me, and the common and the unique as well as me. I'm happy to make all of your acquaintance, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yay!